Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video, and today I'm going to be talking about the 5 best greatest hits albums ever. Now that is perhaps a bit of a tough subject because how do you decide what a good greatest hits album is? And also, I rarely talk about greatest hits albums because, to be quite frank, I don't like them that much. I prefer albums. I like it when a record tells a story and is not just some compilation with no narrative, when it doesn't feel like a whole or when it's just a commercial piece of, well, shit, you know? Also, a lot of the greatest hits compilations, you just don't know what is it sourced. Will it sound any good? Isn't it just better to get me an original? Then you know that it's from the analog tapes. But there are exceptions. And sometimes there are exceptions that really, really fill in the world of the artist. And today I'm going to be talking about those. The 5 best greatest hits albums. 5 greatest hits albums you should really own. I'm going to kick it off with this one. The Shadows' greatest hits. Now, why do I put this one on the number 5 spot? Because this is an awesome sounding album. What I have here is the stereo version. Supposedly the first UK mono is even better. This is I believe the second pressing, stereo pressing, and it sounds awesome. Also, this contains the sound and the story of the Shadows, and it was advised to me by a Shadows fan who said that if you really want to get to know the band and have their best album, the best set of songs, the one that tells the story the best, it is this one, the Shadows' greatest hits. So I bought it and I really, really enjoy it. And I like it so much that if the fans tell me, you don't really have to dive into the albums, or 60s rock and roll or surf fans tell me, you don't really have to dive into the albums, then I'm not going to do that. Although there are some great pieces of work with Cliff Richard and the Shadows, but that's a different topic. On number 5, the Shadows' greatest hits. On number 4, and I'm holding a Dutch pressing here, Queen's grootste hits, Queen's greatest hits. Why this one on the number 4 spot? Well, I believe it's the best sold record by Queen. I really enjoy this album, and there are some things which I find truly amazing about this one. First of all, this one tells a story. It's not just a compilation. It is the story of Queen in the 70s. And when you put these hits together, these standalone great singles, something happens to the world of Queen. And Queen has also tried to tell that narrative with their live shows. And there's also a certain flow between the songs. I mean, started off with Bohemian Rhapsody, which is really nice. And also, oddly enough, this is a greatest hits album that really sounds good. This Dutch pressing, for example, it really sounds good. It sounds smooth. It sounds solid. It sounds it's on the bright side. It has a very good sound, and that is odd for a record which has on one side 8 songs, including Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a almost 6-minute song, and on the other side 9 songs. And it has a very nice flow. Starting with Bohemian Rhapsody, then you get another one, Bites the Dust, which, okay, it's a 1980 song. I get it. Then you go to Killer Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, Bicycle Race, and putting those two together, you know, Fat Bottom Girls and Bicycle Race, which is a and B side, but both were hits, you know. These songs fit together. Then You're My Best Friend, Don't Stop Me Now, and end off side 1 with Save Me, which is a great final song. Same thing for side 2. Started out with Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Get Into Somebody to Love, Now I'm Here, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. Nice hit from Queen, which is often overlooked. Play the Game, also very good ballad, power ballad perhaps. Flash, 7 Seas of Rye, I love that song. It's nice to have the Queen 2 song in there. And ended off with We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. This is a record with a narrative, and I really, really love it. Queen's greatest hits on number 4. On number 3, I'm so happy that I found this one. Bob Dylan's greatest hits. I've been looking for this because Steve Hoffman wrote an article about mastering this for his a certain gold CD. I'm not that much into CDs, but he was talking about how this particular album sounded so good. This is a really good sounding greatest hits album. So I had to find one. I wanted to get a mono one, and last week I found a mono one for €8, and it's in great shape. At least the record is. The sleeve isn't. The sleeve is okay-ish, you know. I'm not complaining, but this record tells the story of Dylan in the 60s, especially the mid 60s, and it is just a great whole. I mean, start off with Rainy Day Woman, then go into Blowing in the Wind, The Times Are Changing, It Ain't Me Babe, Like a Rolling Stone, end of side 1 with Like a Rolling Stone, then side 2 Mr. Tambourine Man, Subterranean Homesick Blues, I Want You, Positively 4th Street, and Just Like a Woman. I mean, these songs tell me of Dylan in the 60s, and it makes for a very bright and cheerful and inviting album, which not a lot of Dylan albums are. I mean, I love the Dylan albums, but this is a particular narrative. It's really inviting. I love it, and the sound is incredible. I've compared some songs with, for example, UK Monos, and this is, I mean, I believe this comes straight from the master tapes. I'm not sure about that. I believe Steve Huffman described something like that. But the tough thing is, with a greatest hits album, you really gotta dig into it to know it for sure. But I believe this is all from the masters anyway. And it's tough to get it all from the masters because they're all on different albums. This one, spot on. Brilliant, beautiful, greatest hits album. Oh, it has an atmosphere, you know. I love that. On to number 3, Bob Dylan's greatest hits. I'm going to number 2. I really dig this one as well. Hank Williams. The old Hank Williams, 40 greatest hits now. This is a necessity. Why? Because finding something on vinyl from Hank Williams is tough, because he was not the kind of guy that lived in the album age. I believe there are some. I believe there's a 1955 album which I really want to have. I believe it's called Ramblin'. Not truly sure about that. I should dive into it. But if you want to understand his work, it's basically a lot of singles. It's a collection of singles and songs that were aired. And in the 70s, I believe it's 1978, they went into the vaults, found the master tapes of these original songs, and put them all together in this 40 greatest hits album. Rolling Stone named it one of the essential country albums, and it truly is amazing. The sound quality is brilliant, and there are so many great songs on here. This greatest hits album is a necessity, and I almost put it on number 1 spot. Almost. But what did I put on number 1? Elvis 24 Karat Hits. This is a masterpiece, and it tells the story of Presley. It starts off in the mono years, Heartbreak Hotel, Love Me, Don't Be Cruel, Hound Dog. It ends off in the stereo era with In the Ghetto, Suspicious Minds, Crying in the Chapel, You're the Devil in Disguise. This for me is the ultimate Elvis Presley album, and that from someone who doesn't like greatest hits albums. A lot of these songs were singles, you know, and putting them together in this sound quality. I mean, what Analog Productions did a re-release on this on vinyl. I believe it was not originally released in it's an album from 1997. I believe it's not released on vinyl originally. I believe it was only on CD. But Analog Productions did a 2010, I believe, vinyl 45 RPM version, and I have not heard Elvis sound this good. I have not heard these songs sound this good. This is music history, and it's perfect. And if you haven't fallen in love with the voice of Elvis, listening to this in the beautiful, detailed quality this is represented in, masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. So, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.